Hey, mahal everyone, welcome back again to the Broadway Saiyan YouTube channel. I am your host 40 and we are back with another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. In today's video, I'm bringing you guys another underappreciated, this time talking about the character BARTZ KLAUSER from Final Fantasy V, who is a representative in Dissidia Opera Omnia. So let's go ahead and take a look at why he is a little bit of an underappreciated character currently in the global version of the game, and then what he gets later on that is currently live on the Japanese version of the game. So Bart's currently in global DFFOO. He specializes in brave shaving. He's the only unit in the game to deduct a set amount of brave from the enemy, otherwise known as a gravity ability. So he has that gravity type ability, kind of like the abilities like, let's say for example, in some of the other Final Fantasies where you use like the gravity spell where it deducts like your HP like a certain amount. That's essentially what Bartz does. His missile ability has that mechanic where it reduces the enemy brave by a set percentage before he actually does something else with the ability. He makes use of the mastery system just like the other FF5 representatives in DFFOO. So aside from him, we also have Ferris, Kryl, and Galoof, who have that mastery system where when they use the ability after a set amount of times, it essentially becomes a stronger version of that ability. He's a great option for bosses such as the Ferocious Avian, who can increase their brave by a huge amount, and this is because of his gravity mechanic with one of his abilities where he can reduce the brave by a set amount before actually dealing brave damage. And then he works well with both buffers and debuffers. So what are Bartz's pros and cons currently in the global version of the game? So his pros are he has high damage modifiers on both non-mastered and mastered abilities with his weapon passives available. So his double hand is at 130%, whereas his double hand plus is at 230%, his missile is at 120%, and his missile plus is at 140%. He's fairly fast, as in the speed tier he is sitting at A, and he does well in various team setups as he has no conflicting self buffs with other buffers. So Bartz doesn't have any self buffs that'll contradict or conflict with other buffers such as like Saz or Aiko. What are his cons? So right now his abilities lack any sort of HP attack follow-up, so he doesn't have any of that with either of his abilities. He lacks his own self buff, so it makes him reliant on great support to really be effective. He possesses only a 25% defense down debuff with his 35 CP weapon passive, so that's the only debuff that he really has. It does help him out because he is a brave shaver, but that's honestly all that he has right now. And his mastery system is also something that really hurts him because it forces him to need time to set up his maximum potential to be able to deal the amount of damage that he's able to deal with his plus abilities. So those are going to be his cons and his pros currently in the global version of the game. Now, Bart's in the future. So this is what he currently has in the Japanese version of the game and what he's going to be getting later on in our global side of Dissidia Opera Omnia. So Bartz is going to be receiving a level 60 awakening. He's going to be receiving an EX weapon, and he's also going to be getting something called a character rework, which is something that they did recently in the Japanese version of the game where they're taking essentially the early level 60 awakening characters, and they are tweaking their abilities to make them a lot more effective and definitely a lot better contenders for like teams and versus some of the other characters that have been recently released. So Bartz currently in JP has one of the fastest charging EXs, making him effective as a high frequency damage dealer to both brave and HP. So his EX ability charges extremely fast, like you could spam it like crazy, so he's effectively a high frequency damage dealer. The mastery requirement on both of his abilities is going to be reduced. His double hand and double hand plus have their hits increased to 2, and they both trigger an HP attack now if his brave is over 80% of his max brave. His damage output is also going to be increased with both of these abilities, and now he also has a self buff with his ability to his max brave, and his double hand plus does have that brave overflow mechanic of 120% of his max brave. His missile and missile plus are going to have their damage output increased. The gravity brave reduction is increased. Missile now reduces the enemy brave by 55%, and missile plus reduces it by a whopping 80%. So that's huge. This also grants Bartz a self buff to his speed for 3 turns, which is pretty nice. His missile will trigger an HP attack if his brave is over 80% of his max brave, while his missile plus now guarantees an HP attack follow-up, and his missile plus hits twice now. His EX weapon is called Great Sword, which is going to grant him him the EX ability Ianuki. So Ianuki is a one-hit Brave plus HP attack that self-buffs Bartz to his max Brave attack and speed for 5 turns. And again, as I said earlier, it is one of the fastest charging EX abilities, so you could literally spam this ability with Bartz, provided that you have his EX weapon in combat. So he's constantly going to be using this, like switching between his plus abilities, his mastered abilities, I mean, and his EX ability. So it really makes him a high frequency damage dealer. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some gameplay footage on my JP account showcasing what Bartz is able to do in the future, something to get you guys hyped, especially if you're really a big fan of this character. Do want to give a big shout out to my buddy Atma. He actually loaned me his Bartz in a co-op because my Bartz in JP doesn't have his EX weapon or some of his abilities because I didn't really level him up on my JP account. So I'm going to be using my buddy Atma's Bartz in this gameplay. So let's go ahead and take a look at that gameplay for this underappreciated video for Bartz. Alrighty guys, here we are following the discussion for the underappreciated video for our boy BARTZ KLAUSER from Final Fantasy V. So as mentioned, I'm going to be showing you guys some gameplay of what he gets in the future, so then that way us global players do have something to look forward to. So we know that Bartz has that mastery system, and that's a thing that kind of hurts him a little bit because he does need a few turns to set up before his abilities actually really kick in. And not only that, but right now in global he doesn't have the option to follow up with an HP attack. But now we're going to be taking a look at his ability. So let's take a look at Double Hand first. So this is his new Double Hand. Alright, so we have it mastered. So with Papalymo, I just have him here just to use as, you know, a character, because this Bartz, again, as I mentioned earlier, is a Bartz that I'm borrowing from my friend Atma. So now we're gonna go ahead and take a look at what Double Hand Plus does with his level 55 passive. So now what it does is it is up to 2 hits, okay? It deals more damage, and the Brave Stolen has that overflow mechanic. So if his max Brave can overflow up to 120% of his max Brave, and not only that, but this also changes his Brave attack to Brave Attack Plus. I'm going to show you what that does, and if his Brave reaches 80% or over of his max Brave, he triggers an HP attack. So we're going to use Papalymo here again. Papalymo's taking another turn, and now I'm going to show you his Brave Attack Plus, and it looks like we have his EX already. So his Brave Attack Plus is pretty cool because what it does is before he hits, he sets the target's Brave to 4/5 before the Brave attack. So he sets it at a certain percentage, then he deals a one-hit Brave attack, and then he raises all allies Brave based on his attack. So that's really, really cool. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at his Missile Extend. So this is his Missile Extend, his level 60 passive. Okay, so his Missile Extend, this time it shortens its mastery requirement by 1, so instead of using it 2 times, you only need to use it once. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the mastered version now. Alright, so his mastered version is now 2 hits. It also moderately raises the amount of damage that it deals. It also slightly raises the Brave reduction effect, so it reduces the target's Brave by a certain amount, and then this time he can also do a Brave overflow of up to 120%, and this time it also triggers an HP attack after use. And when you use Missile, the potency is also raised, and also it grants him small speed up for 3 turns. So it's very, very good that he has this with his Missile Plus. So let's go ahead and just finish off this Chimera here. And then we're going to go ahead and use his EX ability once we get to the second part of this battle. And again, kudos and shoutouts to my buddy Atma, who let me borrow his Bartz, because his Bartz, for one, is level 60, Crystal Passive and level 60, and he also has the EX weapon. So we're gonna take a look at Bartz's EX now, which is going to be pretty cool. So his EX is called Ianuki. So this is going to be his, I think I pronounced it right, Ianuki. So Ianuki is a one-hit Brave plus HP attack, so this also gives him a slight raise in his max Brave attack and speed for 5 turns. And what's cool about this is that even though compared to some of the other EXs, it's not as good or it's not as cool looking or anything like that, it does have a very fast charge rate. It's probably one of the fastest currently right now in JP, so that's the cool thing about this EX. You can use this EX like multiple times more so compared to the other characters that have their EX. We're going to go ahead and do Missile Plus again. So he gets 2 hits, and he gets that HP attack at the end. And we're going to go ahead and use... oh, see, look at that. We have his EX again. So, Bartz is effectively like... He's like an EX machine gun because he could charge up his EX so fast. You're going to be using his EX a lot in battle, and that's what makes him really, really good. And we're going to let Bartz do the honors and finish off this Skull Greymon looking boss here. Alright, so that was double hand plus. Because we didn't hit his Brave of 80% and over, we didn't get a chance to do the HP attack, but that's fine because, look, we have his EX again. So that's 3 times that you got to see the EX. So you literally do his Mastered Ability, and then you get to do his EX, and then his Mastered Ability again, and then his EX. So, like, he's like an EX machine gun, which is going to make him a lot more potent when he gets these buffs and enhancements within the global version of the game. So, again, something to look forward to for this underappreciated video for Bartz. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Again, thank you, Atma, for allowing me to use your Bartz for my video. Again, guys, if you have any suggestions in regards to videos for DFFOO, please be sure to give me a suggestion either on my Discord, I do have that link provided, as well as my Twitter or even my Facebook page. Let me know what you guys want to see on my channel because I love making these videos for you guys. Once again, I am 40 the Broadway saying stay tuned for the next video, and mahal, everyone.